Welcome to Cosmos with Bailey. I'm Bailey and I'm a clairvoyant psychic medium and spiritual healer based in New Zealand. And this video is going to be, as in the title, how did I become a professional psychic and healer? Yes, when I first started this channel, I legit had a dream to start the channel, and I started having very clear dreams of videos that I needed to put up. So that's how that started, but also it's taken me a while to find like my unique vibe on YouTube, and I don't really fit in, as I've said in the previous video, with the spiritual community. I don't consider myself to be a part of the spiritual community. I think we are all quietly spiritual, and you do not need to put on a type of persona or wear certain clothing or subscribe to anything spiritual to be spiritual. Your soul is in your body. You are here and you are a part of spirit. And it is just the way that someone else would experience spirituality is so unique and different to the next person. And so we can't really... That's why I just don't like the spiritual community. And I do think there are a lot of really unhinged people proclaiming things online. And yeah, I think, I'm a big fan, personally, of common sense spirituality, and I do like to apply the spiritual in a very common sense and practical manner in the earthly realm, and that's where you get really, really amazing results. Big fan for me personally in how I work, big fan of using your common sense. Your common sense intuition is your spirit speaking. And I think sometimes we tend to get intuition and whatnot. I think it's been made into this very glorified and glamorized thing. Intuition, very basic common sense intuition, is your common sense spirit speaking to you, and it's here. And that just because of the things we've experienced in our childhood, schooling, our teens, our 20s, or whatever it is, we sort of sometimes lose a strong connection to that voice or the common sense part of us within, and we can sort of go off in these tangents that never needed to happen. And yeah, with the spiritual community, I don't think there is a lot of common sense in there, and therefore I don't really resonate with it. I think you can be a human being and still live a relatively spiritual and fulfilling life without needing to, Okay, so, okay, and we're so unique. And usually with things like spiritual communities and whatnot, you have to adhere to a certain way of being or a belief system, and to me that's not really... I do know that if you don't resonate with a belief system in a spiritual community, you can get ousted pretty easily. And that's not really how I work, and we're all so unique and different. And it's about honouring the uniqueness of who we are and whatnot, and what we like and what we don't like, and it's just, yeah. Okay, so how did I become a professional psychic and healer? So it's been a really long journey over the last 4 years, because and entering into this realm of work as well, and not really knowing where I fit, I suppose, and and it's just been a really interesting time, and finding my own vibe and my own work, and also receiving my own healing modules and whatnot, and setting up my own business with my services that I've been guided with. And yeah, so the main, and the way that it's worked out for me is that I was receiving very clear visions and dreams from the higher spirit realms. Bailey, work as a psychic. Bailey, XYZ. So it's not, I didn't just wake up and be like, I'm going to be a psychic. I got told, you are going to market yourself as a psychic. So that's where that's at. And as a healer. And that's how it happened. And as I was working away and bringing down, the Venus womb, claim masculine fire, all these healing modules and whatnot, and putting them together based on dreams and intuitions that I was receiving, I realized just recently, after everything I've been through and whatnot, and also what happened was the last 2-3 years, I was actually going through a healing training, so by the spirit realm. So I was being trained by the higher spirit realms. I had a dream. You're going through a healing training. And so what happened was I was shut off from a lot of stuff to have very certain experiences to understand how to do healing work and the stuff that I was here to help clear with. So I went through like a period of 2 or 3 years of going through a lot of stuff, understanding the realms, demonic energies, medical medium work. I know that when people work as medical mediums, it's very unique in how they work with the energies. Not all healers are the same, but technically when it comes to medical medium work, for me, I'm working with the life force and the energy body and the aura and the realms, and it's sort of like, okay, so you have, for example, you have an eating disorder. Okay, what went on in your childhood and what's gone on in your spirit? And there's just so much stuff that working as a medical medium, you are going directly to the energy or the energetic reasoning to clear that. And things like PTSD and whatnot is an energetic indiscrepancy in your energy body that you do not have to live with. So, yeah. But I do know that some people are addicted to their trauma and to their suffering, and some people do not want to leave it. I do know that for a fact. I've had some very interesting experiences where I'm like, I could clear that from you, but people don't want their trauma cleared. They want to stay disempowered. So people need to learn to help themselves. And sometimes you have to move through all the feelings and the emotions, and I don't like this person and this and that, and you can't deny the experience either, with healing work and whatnot. Otherwise you're not going to heal and evolve out of that consciousness. You've actually got to feel into the consciousness and the energy and the life force of the original trauma and move through it and then clear it out of the energy body. It's not just as simple as, let's remove this. It's like you've got to move through the process of clearing the trauma, and that's healing in the first place. So I went through a healing training, and obviously I'm very highly clairvoyant and receive very, very clear directives on things. And for that, and so, I got told, start working as a psychic, and so I have. But I'm just taking a little bit. If you keep an eye on my Instagram, the services will be up shortly. It's just I'm still recalibrating a lot at the moment and finishing off some stuff and whatnot. But okay. So on to some positivity now. Yes. Okay. So my name is Bailey, and I live in New Zealand, and I did not know that I was ever going to work as a psychic or a healer. I honestly thought that I was going to end up in like this shack out the back of Kapiti Coast by myself. Like I honestly, when I was in my 20s, I was like, okay. And I tried to move up to Kapiti Coast like for ages, but my car kept breaking down on me and all this stuff. And like the last 5 years, I was like, I'm going to try and move to Kapiti Coast, but it just didn't happen for me. And because there was reasons to everything that I was experiencing. That Cosmos was like, how am I going to explain this? So, what happened was I had to, it's hard to explain, but how am I going to explain it? Basically what I was guided through via the spirit realms was removing myself out of collective consciousness, or the old world consciousness, which is the consciousness we are evolving out of. And so in order for me to work as a psychic and healer and bring down, and I think one of the ways that I work is that I bridge through information. I link and I bridge. So I link through stuff. And this is why in a lot of my services, like business manifestation, they're tailored to me and my energy and how I work with energy. And then I link and bridge you into higher energetics. So that is me and how I work as a psychic. And so there's a very, very big difference between a healer and a psychic whose consciousness or energy is outside of the mainstream collective consciousness versus someone in the mainstream collective consciousness who is working as an intuitive or whatnot. Is that someone I would never go to, because their consciousness is not reading outside of the collective consciousness. And so there's a very, very big difference in between what I would personally deem a professional, spiritually trained psychic and healer, someone who's outside and moved their consciousness outside of collective consciousness, versus someone who's still operating in collective consciousness. If someone is still operating in collective consciousness, they will not be able to read or bring down information outside of what is going on. So, okay, this is where it's at. So, for example, with the property market or business or any type of market, you've got the mainstream collective consciousness. And so this is when you've got stuff saying XYZ is happening in the property market. You don't want to purchase a property, then you want to do blah, 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 blah. And I do not subscribe to anything that mainstream media says. I look at it and I'm like, okay, that's interesting that that's going on. But it was and this is just me as a psychic, it was very interesting because maybe 3 years ago, there was this massive uproar here in New Zealand on the property market, and all these houses were going on the market for extravagant, really shitty houses, $1 million, that were clearly not worth $1 million. And my common sense, even before I started dreaming about stuff, I was like, my common sense about what was going on in the property market, my common sense intuition was, if people just waited another 3 years, the pricing would plummet. I think I picked up it was 2025. If you want to purchase I think it depends where you're at, but in New Zealand, in Wellington specifically, I would wait till 2025, because that's when there's going to be all these empty buildings and they're going to be a really, really cheap price. So when I see these massive mass things happening as collective consciousness or mainstream media, and people go rushing off to buy these houses, I'm like, you're not going to get that money back. You've just bought a house that's not worth what it is, and you've gone and done something out of fear and lack, which is not going to get you financial prosperity over long term. So that's, as soon as you move out of collective consciousness, you're not in that fear and scarcity, and you're not, the mainstream media isn't telling you what to do and how to be. And so that's sort of, you move into the next level of spiritual empowerment, because you're not governed by these things, and you're not, they're there, but they're not dictating how you're living your life. And so, yeah, and with professional psychics and healers, ideally their consciousness should be outside of the mainstream media and the mainstream consciousness in order to get you into abundance, spiritual empowerment, and working with higher energies in business, life, and love, and whatnot, because in collective consciousness, we're just sort of regurgitating the same belief systems over and over and over and over. And so this is when you get people that feel stuck, stagnant, trapped, because you're just sort of regurgitating and repeating the same energy over and over, and they're not moving out of it. And so this is where a healer or a psychic can be just super amazing, a professional one, because they can move you out of that consciousness or state of being, depending on their skill set and their level of spiritual maturity, I may add. Okay, so property market. So this is conventional psychic work, like reading the property market, reading business energies, doing psychic advising and psychic consulting. This is like one of my favorite things to do. And what a good psychic can do is they can read the energies of your business and whatnot and where your highest stuff works. And I can guarantee you the best business owners or whatnot know to go and consult a psychic consultant or whatnot, because they have this higher ability to bring through information that's not a part of the mainstream consciousness. So you immediately have the upper hand with business and any other type of endeavors. It's common sense. And even if you look through the ages, I don't really resonate with the term oracle. I feel like, even though I'm about to start something else with another woman, but like oracle to me, I don't know. I think I just get really off put by it because I see a lot of women using the term oracle, but they're like dressed up in these outfits, and I just find it really tacky, and that's not my scene. And I also, some of the clients that I have, I don't know, it's really hard to take women like that seriously. But and throughout the ages, we have, you would have women that people will go to consult, and they would be called oracles, but they would be sort of, they're the modern day psychics, and whatnot. But I'm just going to say there's a very, very big difference in the level of caliber between a professional psychic that's able to do that and someone who's playing tarot games. I know there's professional tarotists who are amazing, but there's also a difference between, someone who, there's a big difference in the caliber of the channel and the information versus spiritual maturity and someone who's still trying to figure it out, if that makes sense. So if you want to go and consult a healer or a psychic, you're looking for someone who's pretty mature and grounded in common sense. Just like you would if you sign a contract with someone or starting a business with someone, you want to make sure that they're not a loony bin, you know what I mean? Okay, so so what happened with me was that I started with my partner. I started dreaming about, I would email him, because he already had his foot in the property market. And this is how I figured out that I could read the property market, because I started dreaming about property portfolios and where he needed to go and purchase the next property and whatnot and stuff like that. And I was like, what? And for me personally, I find it very interesting. I don't own any property myself, but it's really interesting, and I love being a part of other people's journeys in business and in property, because it can be so expansive once you start working with a psychic advisor or consultant, because it can open you up to so much more vaster revenues and fulfillment as well. And really aligning you with the essence of who you are, because in business, so some men can be really amazing at business and whatnot in the physical. They can get the finances, they can get the land, they can get whatever, but then they're missing the spirit fulfillment in the business and in the life that's really going to hit that sweet spot and bring you even more abundance in a well-rounded manner. And what a really good psychic or healer can do is they can tune you in to the missing, it's almost like the creative, intuitive part of business that makes everything so much better, and you sort of move out of that hustle bustle. So that again for me is sort of like the honeybee energy of the feminine energy that you can infuse into business. This is how I work as a psychic as well with business and whatnot, and you infuse that honeybee. This is me and my energy, I don't know how other psychics work, of creativity, flow, spiritual expansiveness. You put the feminine energy into business, and you're immediately going to get spiritual fulfillment, abundance, and the whole business is going to open up. you infuse creativity and your unique spirit essence, and things just magically start happening, and your intuition opens up, and you feel so much more connected to the spiritual realms, and you know that you're guided, and that you can sort of relax into business and life, and really be in the unknown with it all when it comes to stuff like that. So yeah, I became a professional psychic and healer literally because the spirit realms told me that's what I was going to do. And so I went through all these experiences and whatnot to understand many, many, many things, and I really deeply enjoy it. But it's been a very big process of, so I did that energy reading of what happens when you evolve at a certain frequency. That also happened for me, and so right now I'm beginning to realize that I can do a lot more than what I previously thought I could. So it is it's pretty open and expansive, this new energy, and okay, so is there anything else? That the whole purpose of being a professional psychic and healer is to open up to more spiritual abundance, creativity, happiness, and joy. That's the purpose of it, because in this new planetary era, it's the return of the matriarch, or the return of the divine feminine, and so that means we get to start infusing how we experience ourselves with higher manifestations of feminine and masculine energy, with the matriarch being the leader. The matriarch's not a leader though, she's more of like an energy that we sort of play with. It's a lot more relaxed to be in the body with. Okay, so professional healer and psychic. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, that was like quite a long video. That's not, so that's just me and how I work and what's happened to me. It's been a very interesting journey so far. I have connected into some people that I really got some collabs coming up with that are really amazing people, and I'm sort of hoping with Cosmos with Bailey, obviously I'm going to share a lot more dreams and insights. We know there's a world war coming on in, but I don't know, because I don't think it's gonna, I'm not going to talk about that right now. That's not what, Okay, so my services are gonna, I want to talk a little bit about New Zealand as well. Do I? Yeah, so obviously also I just want to talk a little bit more. I don't work full time. I will only do 2 days a week, and then I will take on private clients or over long term, or I will take on long-term clients via healing programs and whatnot on one-on-one. So I only work 2 days a week, mainly because the last 4 years of my life was so overwhelming and hard. And I went through my own healing module with the Venus worm, and that kicked me. That was hard. There was ancestral stuff that was really hard. It didn't kick me. It was just hard. I don't know. I was crying a lot, and just feeling a lot of feelings and whatnot. So I don't work full time, and I think for me, I definitely want to spend a lot more time exploring New Zealand. I feel like since I left that old frequency, I felt like I wasn't living my life. I felt like someone else was in charge of my life, and now all of a sudden I'm like, I want to go do some exploring down the South Island. I definitely want to maybe, I think I said this before, do an interior design course because I love beautifying. But I also want to try some property stuff. Lucky for me, I got a partner who's pretty into it. So I'm hoping to like dabble a little bit in property as well. And also, so that's me, Bailey. And yes, I would recommend if you're ever in New Zealand, there's heaps of really amazing thermal hot pools, taupo de breaths. If anyone personally knows me or watches this, they know about my obsession with taupo de breaths. They've got these private thermal hot pools that you can go on by yourself. They're really lovely, and I'm really looking forward to exploring down south, I know they've got some thermal hot pools down the South Island and whatnot. Yeah, so I'm also really looking forward to connecting with new clients and whatnot when my services and my website opens up. And feel free to send me an email if you want to connect, or you want to know more about my services that are coming on in. But that is how I became a professional psychic and healer, by the spiritual realms telling me that that's what was happening. Thank you for watching.